Have you ever had a situation where you've got to move house and things get topsy-turvy? Well, I didn't actually move house together with my wife and family, but we sort of moved house, as you would have just seen from the picture above, that things had just turned upside down because we had a flood. And it really did get a little bit, and it still is a bit topsy-turvy in my house. Hi, my name's Aaron Gross and I'm from aarongross.com and I'm a clear mind coach. I help people get clarity on all sorts of things in life, whether your house is topsy-turvy like mine is at the moment and you've got all sorts of challenges. It could be marriage, it could be going through a divorce, it could be your work, it could be your partner, it could be anything. And I help people have more times that they're on with their clarity on decision making where things work out than other times when things don't work out so well. So today I'd like to speak to you about my place, which is sort of upside down. And as you would have seen in the picture just a moment ago, we're playing musical chairs with furniture and things are being moved around because the insurance came through and we've got to get things fixed up. And the interesting thing about this whole experience for me is I didn't have to naturally think positive in order to get things fixed in my brain to work optimally, to work from a better come from within my own personality. I didn't have to sort of say, okay, I'm going to think positive. I'm not going to put all the negative thoughts out of my mind. So, do you have to think positive? The answer is thinking positive can be a good thing, but very often it doesn't work. So then what does work? What's going to cut it for you to get through your own turmoil in your own life? And that's really the $1 million question. So what's working for me? What's working for me is to understand what I call the inside out nature of life, looking from an inside view inside the system of how we all work, which is basically that everything that I experience from out there in the wider world gets taken in via my eyes and ears and nose and the senses of my body, and then it processes it in the back of my brain and it draws a picture up of my mind of how I look at the world. That's called inside out. And I get to think moment to moment on what I want to make of the situation. My thoughts generate a feeling within me. So I look at something, my house is topsy-turvy, and I can feel very stressed about it. Or I might not feel stressed about it at all. I might feel very calm, depending on my thoughts on the situation at the moment. Interestingly, my wife, even though she intellectually understands the principles behind a clear mind, it's still not totally embodied, and she is more what I call outside in. She objectifies the situation by putting her feelings dependent on what the situation is out there, because she doesn't realize that her thoughts are creating her experience moment to moment. That's her movie experience of life. And she's outside in because she's got an attitude is, I'll be happy when it's all fixed. I'll be happy when the house is not a mess anymore. And I can understand that, and I'm very respectful of that, because we live in what we call separate realities. You and I and all human beings can look at things and we can have two totally different interpretations and experiences of the one situation. For example, the situation at hand. The house is totally topsy-turvy with workers coming in, and yet Shani, my wife, will look at it one way and she's super stressed out. And I'm living with her in the same situation and I don't share that stress because I realize that I can't control physically what's going on around me all the time, like the fact that we had a flood and we've got all these workers coming in now from the insurance to get it fixed, but I am 100% in control of what I think in this moment, which generates my experience. So Shani attributes her feelings and her experience of what's going on to the mess out there. So she's given away her power in the sense that she's stressed out about it. I, on the other hand, I'm not stressed about it because I know that even though it is a uncomfortable situation, I don't have to give extra explanations and have an extra mental filter on top of the situation with the unjust unfairness and the self-righteousness and why me and why is this happening to me, and all that sort of drops, and I'm just left with what is, and okay, this is the situation that we have to live with, and I'm just making the best of it. And even though it is uncomfortable, it is noisy with workers, we've even had complaints from the other neighbours about the noise some of the workers are making, but that's just the situation that we've got to live with. So it's just really interesting that we're both living in the same house, in the same situation, yet two diverse experiences of the same situation. And when you're experiencing a lot of negativity and getting really stressed out, well, it's not a very nice situation to go through. I'm not telling Shani how she should think. I'm actually perfectly okay for my wife and for anyone to have a different view than me. And I don't need to force my opinion on you or anybody to look at things my way, even though in the good old days I used to think like that all the time. If you don't get what I'm saying, well, there's either something wrong with you or possibly even me. But after learning these principles behind a clear mind, I'm totally clear and I'm totally okay with you looking at it from your way and me and mine, and I can still accept and respect everyone, certainly my wife, regardless of whether she understands what I understand or not, because each one of us live in our own reality bubble of life, and the way you see things and the way I see things will never be exactly the same. We can agree on a lot of things, but there are a lot of things that we won't see exactly the same. And the good news is that whether you get it or you don't get it, the thought storm will pass. Eventually we'll get over the situation, whether the situation out there changes or it remains the same. We'll learn to adapt and get over it, and our thoughts will eventually calm down and quieten down, and we'll go back to our natural set point of clarity, peace, and well-being. And so will Shani. Hope you enjoyed that. If you did, and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so down there. And if you're interested in continuing a conversation with me, I'll leave some details up there for you to contact me so we can continue this conversation on developing clarity for you and anyone else that's interested in getting a happier, clearer, more calmer life. Until next time, within the topsy-turvy that we're in over here right now, wishing you only well, peace, happiness, and blessing. Bye for now.